flanks. This is where a flank steak comes from, right here on beef. Here are the kidneys. This is suet, or the lumbar fat that enrobes the tenderloin, which is right down here. We saw the tenderloin on the beef last night. The veal tenderloin is about 1/10 the size of a full-grown steer. It's a much smaller animal. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is, since mine came off already, we'll pretend it's still on there. You're just going to very carefully follow that separation. Just peel the kidney back, separate it from the body fat, and you're going to put the kidney right here in the back in this part of this bin. Okay. Then once you take off the kidney, I want you to very carefully trim away some of this excess lumbar fat. This is all garbage, basically. Just peel it away, and then you're going to remove the tenderloin. Now, if this were a short loin of beef, which is what we worked on last night, you would do all this stuff exactly the same way. All right, so if you come in close here, here's the tenderloin muscle right here. That's the tenderloin where it sits. Can we see this? You can see it right over here. Okay? Tenderloin, right there. This is what it looks like when it's right side up. So that's the sirloin butt end of the loin. Same thing as on this is the same exact piece of muscle tissue that we worked on last night with the beef loin. Okay, so the tenderloin is right down here. You see that? You can't see it coming around this side. There's the tenderloin. So that's the sirloin butt, that's the tail. I'm standing where the head would be. This is the ribeye muscle right at the 12th rib bone. Rib bone number 12, rib bone number 13 underneath the flank. Okay? So you can kind of see how it kind of looks a little bit like a New York strip steak. Okay? So what you're going to do is turn it upside to keep it upside down. The tenderloin is sitting right up against this bone. This is the chine of the spine bone. So first things first, you see this little tail of meat right here at the other end by the ribs? This is not the tenderloin. You just kind of cut around the separation. Take it off. This is usable trimming for grinding and stewing. Throw that in here. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is remove the tenderloin very carefully. So what you do is you get your boning knife right up against the spine. Best to hold it like this. And with the tip of the knife, you're opening up the separation between the spine and the tenderloin very carefully. Okay? Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
And then what you're going to start doing is working your way down into that separation very carefully. I only want you to use the very tip of the knife, because if you use too much of the middle or back of the blade, you're going to start hacking into the meat too badly. And what you need to do is sever the ligaments first to separate the tenderloin from the bone. Okay, so you're kind of cutting straight down and in. Now, when you get to the bottom of the bone, it kind of goes down and it comes out towards the flank. It's like an L that goes down and out that way. So when you hit the bottom, instead of cutting straight down anymore, now what you're going to do is cut across and out towards the end of the flank very carefully with the tip of the boning knife. The tenderloin on all four-legged animals always is in the same spot. It always gets removed the same way. The tail sits between the 12th and 13th rib bone. The head always sits right above the upper pelvic structure. See how I'm only using the tip of the knife, and how I'm getting virtually all the meat off the carcass. I'm not leaving any meat, virtually any meat behind.
Yes, sir.
It's a very expensive cut of meat, so you don't want to hack into it, and you don't want to leave it behind. Leave anything behind on the carcass. Just keep cutting around the separation. Now, we'll come back and clean the tenderloin later, but essentially, anything you do with a beef tenderloin, you can do with this thing. So we'll talk about that later. I want you to wrap up, put your tenderloins in the front of the same bin as the kidneys. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And then stop. So I want you to remove the kidneys, clean up the lumbar.